Meghan Markle is threatening to sue the British royal family and Prince William if her titles are removed.
It's ridiculous. Stop it, okay? This doesn't even make sense to me that she would even think that she deserves this title.
They're basically manipulating their position for their own personal gain. I think this is a very serious moment for the monarchy, actually. I think, far more than Andrew or anything else, these are the people that are likely to really damage it.
Royal biographer Andrew Lowney just said the quiet part out loud. In an interview with News Nation, Lowney, a historian who has written extensively about the British monarchy and its internal fault lines, laid it out in plain English.
Is there any world in which Harry and Meghan walk back into England and the royal family and take up duties, in your mind?
Disneyland, perhaps. No, I don't think there is. I think it's gone too far. I think Charles is keen to have a rapprochement with Harry before he dies, and I think Harry is keen on that too. But I think the relationship between William and Harry is just...
He said he expects King Charles to announce sweeping reforms that would strip titles from any member of the royal family who is no longer in an active working role. And then he added the line that should have every publicist in Montecito reaching for their phone. I think they're going to deal with the Andrew and Harry problem at the same time. Not separately, not eventually. At the same time.
One bill, and it would deal with Meghan and Harry, but also critically, P. Dinah, it would deal with Archie and Lily too.
One policy, two brothers, one disgraced and under criminal investigation. The other 6,000 miles away in California, refusing to come home. And the same solution for both. The titles go. Now, before anyone says this is tabloid speculation, let's be clear about who Andrew Lowney is. He's not a gossip columnist. He's not a daily uploader looking for clicks. He's a published historian, a biographer with books on the royal family, and a man who has consistently been ahead of the curve on Andrew's downfall.
Do you think that he kind of blames Harry for Catherine's cancer?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think it is deeply personal as well as public. I mean, he's, the whole reputation of monarchy has been sullied both by Harry and by Andrew, and that's the inheritance that, he's going to have to deal with.
When he says the palace is preparing reforms, that carries weight, and he's not the only one saying it. A senior palace aide, quoted across multiple outlets, said something that reads like a policy document disguised as a conversation.
The HRH is only given to working royals and senior members of the royal family because it denotes a level of I guess, respect in the public, and also it's not a financial thing. Working royals do not profit. They do not use their names to make money. It's an honor to have an HRH.
They said the underlying principle is accountability, that titles were historically tied to service, to visible ongoing work carried out in support of the crown and the country, and that when that public role falls away, it inevitably raises questions about whether the status attached to it should remain indefinitely.
Just Harry Mountbatten Windsor.
Well, I think the question is, would people want him as Harry Mountbatten Windsor?
There is, and this is a direct quote from the aide, a growing view that royal rank cannot simply exist in a vacuum. Read that again. Royal rank cannot simply exist in a vacuum. That is aimed directly at two people. One is Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, sitting on the Sandringham estate stripped of every title except his place in the line of succession.
Terrible news for Harry and Meghan here is that William can now take away everything, their titles, without an act of parliament.
The other is the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, sitting in a mansion in Montecito, using the titles Duke and Duchess to open doors at the United Nations, the World Health Organization, the NAACP, and every humanitarian photo opportunity they can find while performing zero official duties for the crown that granted those titles in the first place.
Instead, in the midst of the biggest royal crisis in a century, these two grifters and fake have decided this is the moment to embark on a new fake royal tour, this time of the Middle East, where she's literally trying to claim she's the queen of the desert in Jordan.
Here's the timeline that makes all of this feel inevitable. October 2025. Charles strips Andrew of everything. The title of Prince, gone. Duke of York, gone. HRH, gone. Knight of the Garter, gone. Royal Victorian Order, annulled. Letters patent issued. Name struck from the official roll of the peerage. He is now legally Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, a commoner, evicted from Royal Lodge, relocated to a property on the Sandringham estate. His ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, had to find somewhere else to live.
Meghan, this is historic. There has not been a crisis like this in 90 years.
The palace statement said these censures were deemed necessary. The Prime Minister said he fully supported the decision. It was the first time a prince had been stripped of his title in over 100 years. since Prince Charles Edward lost the Duke of Albany title in 1917 for fighting for Germany in World War I. Then February 19th, 2026. Andrew's 66th birthday. Unmarked police cars pull up at the Sandringham estate. Andrew is arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office.
The reports are that Prince Andrew, the former Prince Andrew, has been arrested.
Think about that for a second. The son of Queen Elizabeth II, a man who was born a prince, arrested on his own birthday at the estate his mother used to host Christmas. It was the first arrest of a senior member of the British royal family. Since Charles I in 1647, he's held for 11 hours at Aylsham Police Station and released under investigation. Thames Valley Police searched addresses in Berkshire and Norfolk, including Royal Lodge, the home he'd already been evicted from months earlier. And what did Charles say?
Do you know, I was beginning to fear it might, but when it actually happens, it is an absolute bombshell. I mean, to put this into context, there has been no member of the royal family arrested in my lifetime. I'm 60 years old.
He released a statement expressing his deepest concern and said that the law must take its course. Not my brother, not Andrew. The statement from the palace used the phrase Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the name of a private citizen, not a family member. That choice of language was deliberate, and the palace insiders who briefed royal correspondents made sure everyone understood it. Now, here's where it gets personal for Harry and Meghan, because Loney didn't just talk about reforms in general terms. He connected the dots explicitly. He said that getting rid of Andrew has been a very useful exercise in showing what's possible regarding titles. And then he added, it's a warning shot across Harry's bow, a warning shot, not a threat, not a bluff, an exercise in demonstrating what can be done and how quickly.
I did think it would happen. If Harry and Meghan are watching, they should be incredibly concerned, because if it's this simple to take away Prince Andrew's titles, one day it could be this easy to take away Harry and Meghan's titles.
The machinery for stripping a royal title now exists. The legal process has been tested, the public reaction has been measured, and the precedent has been set. If Charles can take everything from his own brother, a man born a prince, then taking a dukedom from a son who voluntarily left the institution is not just possible. It's easy, and this is where the Jordan trip becomes relevant, because the timing could not have been worse for the Sussexes.
All they had to do was shut up and do nothing, and Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were probably going to get their best news cycle in years, because we know deep down they want to bring down the British royal family.
1 week after Andrew's arrest, then, while the monarchy was navigating the worst crisis it's faced since the abdication, Harry and Meghan flew to Jordan. 2-day trip, World Health Organization delegation, motorcades, hospital walkabouts, refugee camp visits, camera crew, 3 outfit changes, PR team feeding identical briefings to People magazine and Town and Country. Royal expert Daniela Elser called it DIY royaling and warned that the images of Harry and Meghan in Jordan were a clear reminder of the need to draw clear lines between the crown and the people who just happened to be related to the king. An insider quoted across entertainment media said the palace was livid.
There's this ludicrous couple just pretending to do a royal tour. God knows what it's all about except for chasing headlines and saying, hey, anything William can do, we can do better. It's pathetic. It's really pathetic.
Another source described it as looking like a full-scale royal tour, without the permission slip, and the Jordanian royal family, King Abdullah and Queen Rania, who had hosted William and Kate at Windsor Castle just 4 months earlier, didn't meet the Sussexes. Not for dinner, not for tea, not for a handshake. The silence from the Hashemite palace said everything Buckingham Palace was too polite to say out loud. And here's the constitutional detail that ties this all together. On February 23rd, 4 days after Andrew's arrest, Darren Jones, the chief secretary to the Prime Minister, stood up in the House of Commons and said the government is not ruling out action in respect of the line of succession. That's not about Andrew alone. That's about anyone in the line of succession who isn't serving the crown.
I think the palace and the machinery of the monarchy needs to take Harry and Meghan more seriously and make sure that Harry and Meghan's antics don't impact the future of the crown.
Harry is currently 5th. Archie and Lilibet are 6th and 7th. If the line of succession is reformed to exclude non-working royals, the Sussexes don't just lose titles, they lose their children's place in the constitutional framework of the British monarchy. Russell Myers, in his forthcoming biography, William and Catherine, The Monarchy's New Era, claims that Charles actually considered offering Harry the role of Governor-General of Canada before the couple chose to leave for America. It didn't happen because the position is typically held by a Canadian citizen, but the fact that it was even discussed tells you something about how far Charles was willing to go to keep Harry inside the institution and how completely that door door has now closed, and Harry knows where this is heading.
As pressure grows on the UK Parliament, King Charles and Prince William to take action on all the wayward royals.
A report in People magazine said Harry is frustrated by the ongoing comparisons between himself and Andrew. A royal insider told the magazine he was frustrated by the comparisons. He doesn't want to be lumped in with his disgraced uncle. But Loney's point is that the palace doesn't see them as morally equivalent. It sees them as structurally equivalent. Both are non-working royals holding titles. Both are using royal status without performing royal duties. The reasons they left are different. The reform that applies to them would be the same. And that's the part Meghan should be most worried about. Because the Duchess of Sussex title isn't just a name on a passport. It's the foundation of every deal.
Royalty is not just a title that you can use to sell jam. It's a service, and if she doesn't want to do the service, give back the title.
Every partnership, every charity event, every Netflix appearance, every magazine cover, every NAACP award, every Jordan trip, every humanitarian photo opportunity they've done since 2020. Strip that title and the invitations change. The press coverage changes, the negotiating power changes. Without Duchess, Meghan Markle is a former actress from a canceled legal drama living in Montecito with her husband. With Duchess, she's global royalty visiting refugee camps with the World Health Organization.
This is a pattern for her. It's not about charity. It's about her image.
The entire Sussex brand, the Archewell Foundation, the Spotify deal that collapsed, the Netflix content, the charity galas, the speaking engagements, all of it is built on 6 letters, DUCHESS. That title is the business, and Loney is telling you, on the record, on camera, that the business model is about to get restructured. The real question isn't whether it will happen. The real question is when.
It's now a matter of when, not if, he strips Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their royal titles.
Loney has made it clear that William's first act as king would include stripping the Sussex titles. But Charles may not wait that long. The Andrew precedent has been set. The legal framework exists. The government has signaled willingness. The public appetite is there, and every time Harry and Meghan show up in another country playing dress-up diplomats with cameras in tow, the case for acting gets stronger. A constitutional expert told reporters that discussions were already happening about formally defining who qualifies as a working royal.
They are a danger, honestly. Take this lesson from what Fergie and Andrew have done over the past 3 decades and do not let history repeat.
Andrew's arrest didn't start those discussions. It accelerated them. And once that definition is formalized, once working royal has a legal meaning attached to it, the titles of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex become indefensible. Andrew Loney called it a warning shot, but warning shots are only warnings if someone's paying attention. And based on that Jordan trip, that NAACP appearance, and that Archewell Philanthropies rebrand, Meghan and Harry aren't listening. They're doubling down, using the titles harder, showing up louder, playing the role bigger.
I actually would go as far to say that Harry is a traitor because he betrayed his country. He betrayed one of the leading institutions of his country, the monarchy. He disgraced the monarchy. He disgraced his family.
Every press release still says the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Every charity event still opens with those words. Every international trip still trades on the status that came from an institution they walked away from 6 years ago. Which means when the announcement comes, and Loney says it will, it won't feel like a warning anymore. It'll feel like a verdict. And the question Meghan will have to answer isn't whether she can survive without a title. It's whether anything she's built since 2020 works without one. We'll be watching, and when it happens, you'll hear it here first.